So you're ready to set up a new computer, and you've got all the pieces, the keyboard, the monitor, maybe a printer. It can feel like a lot, but honestly, it's a skill that's way more straightforward than it looks. We're going to demystify the whole thing one step at a time.
I mean, let's be real. The first time you look at the back of a computer tower, you're hit with this wall of different plugs and ports. It can be pretty intimidating, kind of like you're looking at some old-school telephone switchboard from a black-and-white movie. I think we've all had that moment, right? You're holding a cable, staring at that panel, and just thinking, where on earth does this thing go? It really does feel like you need a secret decoder ring to get started. Well, today, we're going to draw that map for you.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover what peripherals even are. Then we'll take a quick tour of the most common ports you'll run into. After that, we'll do something practical. We'll actually connect a monitor. And to finish up, we'll talk about how to protect all your cool new gear.
Okay, let's start at square one. Before we can start plugging things in, it helps to know what these things actually are. We call them peripherals, and their whole job is to give your computer new superpowers. The official definition is actually super simple. A peripheral is just any piece of hardware you add on to expand what your computer can do. Think of your computer as the brain. Peripherals are like its hands, its eyes, and its ears. They let the brain interact with the world around it.
And these peripherals basically come in two flavors. You've got your internal ones, like this network card here, which lives inside the computer's case. And then you have external ones, like this USB flash drive, that you can just plug in and pull out whenever you want. Both types are all about adding new functions. All right, now for the ports themselves. Honestly, the best way to think about them is like doorways into your computer. Each port is a special kind of door for a specific device, and it lets information flow back and forth.
Hey, remember this thing? See, it's not so scary once you know what you're looking at. We're not going to go over every single port that's ever existed, but we are absolutely going to decode the big three. The most important ones you'll probably use every single day. And first up, we have the undisputed champion of connectivity, the USB port. You have definitely seen these little rectangular ports. They are, by a long shot, the most common way to hook up pretty much anything to your computer. The real magic of USB is just how versatile it is. It connects everything: your keyboard, your mouse, your printer, external hard drives, you name it. The best part is its plug-and-play ability, which just means you can plug something in and it works right away, no rebooting required. Plus, it can even send power to smaller devices, which is just incredibly handy. Next on our tour, we have HDMI. If you've connected a TV, a game console, or pretty much any screen in the last decade or so, you know this port. It's the modern standard for getting your picture and sound from your computer to a display. The main thing to know about HDMI is just how efficient it is. It bundles crystal clear, high-definition video and really high-quality audio into one single, simple cable. That's why it's the go-to for connecting computers to monitors, TVs, projectors. One cable does it all. And finally, let's talk about the Ethernet port. You might also hear this one called an RJ45 port. This guy is all about getting you online with a physical cable. Now, Wi-Fi is awesome, but sometimes you just can't beat a wired Ethernet connection for speed and stability. It connects you directly to your local network and, through that, to the internet. You'll know this port because it looks kind of like a big phone jack, and it usually has a little symbol with interconnected boxes next to it. Okay. We've seen the ports, we know what they do, so let's actually put this knowledge to work. We're going to walk through one of the most common things you'll ever do with a new computer: hooking up the monitor. First things first, you gotta play a little matching game. Take a look at the back of your computer and the back of your monitor and see what video ports you're working with. You might see modern ones like HDMI or DisplayPort, or maybe some older styles like DVI or VGA. The goal is just to find a port that's on both the computer and the monitor. And this makes it super simple. First, grab the video cable for your monitor. Then, match it up to the ports we just found and plug it in, one end to the monitor, the other to the computer. After that, connect the power cord to the monitor. Now, pay close attention to step 5, plugging it into a surge protector. That is so important, and we'll talk more about why in just a second. Finally, power on the computer, then the monitor, and you should be good to go. We just mentioned a surge protector, which brings us to our final, and you could argue most important section. See, connecting your devices is one thing, but making sure they stay safe and working for the long haul, that's just as critical. Let's start with a danger you can't even see. It's called ESD, or electrostatic discharge. You know that tiny zap you sometimes get when you touch a metal doorknob after walking on carpet? That's static electricity. And while that little shock is totally harmless to you, a jolt just like it can be absolutely fatal to the sensitive parts inside your computer.
The key thing to get here is that even a zap so small you can't even feel can permanently fry your computer's components. So to prevent this, especially when you're working inside the case, you've got to use grounding tools like an anti-static wrist strap or an ESD mat. These things safely get rid of any static buildup on your body before it has a chance to do any damage. And finally, let's talk about protecting your electronics from the power coming out of the wall. A lot of people mix up surge protectors and an uninterruptible power supply, or UPS. Just think of it like this. A surge protector is your basic shield. It's absolutely essential, and it protects your gear from sudden spikes in electricity. A UPS does that, plus it has a battery inside. So if the power goes out completely, the UPS battery kicks in and gives you a few precious minutes to save your work and shut down your computer properly. So that panel on the back of your computer, it's not a puzzle you need to be afraid of. It's a panel of possibilities. Every single port is an open door to add a new tool, a new feature, a new way for you to work or create or play. So now that you have the map, the only question is, what are you going to connect next?